All right, folks, welcome back. Our 2 week, what is it?
Hiatus.
There you go, is done. Obviously, you heard both the Wanda and Ernie say hello, guys.
Hello.
And this is episode 95. We're getting close to episode
Wow.
100.
How about that?
But matter of fact, I think once baseball starts, we'll be there. Pretty much opening week. So with that being said, spring's almost upon us. We've had a pretty nice weekend, right?
Yeah. I mean, other than the wind, because the wind made it feel like it was 20 degrees colder than it actually was. The weather, and today's gorgeous.
But wasn't Saturday like 60 degrees or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was in shorts. I don't remember if it was on Friday or
Yeah,
Saturday.
but
At night.
at like 4 o'clock, the wind started whipping up, and it drastically
And it's
changed.
back to sub 20 on
Yeah. And we're just starting to come out of it today, which is good. And I think the rest of the week we're all clear besides a little bit of rain, I think, in the forecast maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's,
Some
I think
high
it's,
winds, I think, too.
yeah, but I think it's supposed to be like 50 degrees tomorrow, if not Thursday. So with that being said, we're right there. Spring training has started. We gave them 2 weeks, so we have, I think, a lot of bullshit to talk about, which wouldn't normally be talking about if the season already started. But let's get starting with baseball pitching. What on earth is going on?
With everybody getting hurt already?
Yeah, you got two starters from the Mets gone, Montas and Minaya. You got Luis Gil, who was shut down for 6 weeks with some oblique-ish issue. And that's just like the starters. Then you got the bullpen guys, at least for the Yankees. I didn't really check the Mets as far as the bullpen guys are concerned. But you got a couple guys on our bullpen that are already shut down already. I don't. What do they do in the offseason? Yeah. Well, I didn't even get to the position players yet. You got John Carlos Stanton with not one tennis elbow, but two tennis elbows.
No, that's unfortunate.
You're telling me what is going on here? We lose Juan Soto, then we lose John Carlos Stanton to tennis elbow. Can anyone explain to me what he actually does, like for the 4 months in the off season?
Lifting too many weights. That's probably the problem.
Right, but also maybe are you thinking that that's an injury that's happened over time for lifting so many weights? You think?
I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm thinking tennis elbow is a result of, just the regular, over usage of your elbow. I don't know. I mean, why is it called tennis elbow? I'm assuming because...
Yeah, they're swinging and whatever.
Right.
So, like, I guess this is... But what's funny to me is it didn't pop out of nowhere. He said he played through it last year. So if that's the case...
Which means you did nothing to fix it during the off season, and you did stuff that just made it worse.
Right. Like, after the World Series is over, I get you wanted to play in the playoffs, and Christ, we needed him to play in the playoffs, so I get it. And I'll never bash how bad he is again, and a lot of people share that sentiment. But how about you tell the Yankees, a week after the World Series is over, listen, I got some elbow issues. Let's get in front of this now.
Well, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Yankees, or is it that, he's such a gym monger so concerned about working out that he was working out and that didn't help it? Who the hell knows?
I mean, if you're telling us now, like 2 weeks ago, that this was happening last year, but you played through it, that must have meant that he had it during the playoffs at the very least. It didn't go away. And even if it did, like, all of a sudden you come into spring training and day one you swing a bat and I don't understand that. Like, that's to me what I'm not getting right now is why didn't they try and fix it in November, or at the very least get it checked out in November and keep it on the hush, and then just
because
fix
it's
it?
one of those things. Is there really anything that they can do to fix it, or is it just something that you have to rest it?
That's a good point.
That's the thing. Like,
So that maybe they had that talk and it didn't come out.
he should have been resting it during the off season instead of But can you tell a guy like that you're not going to work out for 3 months?
I mean, you don't have to lift weights. He's already big. Like, you know what I mean? He's
But
still
that's
powerful.
what I'm saying. A guy that's that into his body and his physique, I guess maybe it's hard to tell him you got to stop.
I guess. I mean, supposedly last year, to get ready for last year's season, he had a totally different training program. So I don't know if he was trying to follow that again this year, or if he just went back to weights and now he has these elbow issues. Like, I don't understand why reporters aren't asking these things, and I'm the only one wondering it.
Yeah, because I don't think that you're ever going to get a straight answer. That's why, especially if it's, a result of something that he maybe wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I guess, man, it just bothers me that this couldn't have been handled over the winter. And maybe he still would have had a little bit of a setback, but he's starting the season again on the IL. So is probably Heel. One guy already had Tommy John surgery, so he's done till next year, in the middle of the year, easy. I forget what his name is. Who's the other guy? Efros. He's got a hammy, so he's out at least 4 to 6 weeks. Not going to throw. They're just stacking up already.
Yeah.
And then you got Mr. Injury himself besides Stan, DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, yeah.
A calf issue. What is going on?
I think the talk of retirement should be on the plate for that guy.
You're not wrong. I really feel so bad for him because I was reading an article the other day, and he said he was losing sleep over not being available to play last year. Like, he was so banged up that he couldn't play, and like he would lose sleep, and that's all he would think about is getting ready for this year. And then they say in the article that it's not a significant injury, so he'll be able to, start going again soon, which is good. But
unfortunately, when they start hitting that, magic number in the age department, it seems like no injury is insignificant at some point,
I agree, because this could linger for 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden,
and that's where I'm sure the frustration comes in their part, right? Because they're so used to playing, so used to being, especially when they're very successful players.
Yeah.
And then injuries just totally destroying your career. Like Don Mattingly, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're at the top of the sport, essentially, and then injury just totally derails that.
No, you're not wrong. He's like the perfect example. And there are other guys too. Who was the catcher on the Giants? Posey.
Buster Posey.
Yeah, he was another one that just declined really quickly and then called it quits. And maybe LeMahieu has to do that, but we're really not in a good position right now at third base. I was hoping I would catch it on the radio. They said that they had some news at third base with Aaron Boone made a statement today.
Oh, I heard the same thing. I did hear the same thing.
And I missed it. You know what I mean? I was pissed because...
what do you think it's going to be? I mean, it seems like it's probably going to be, a combination of Peraza and Cabrera, and maybe more so Peraza. Is Peraza that they say is the much better defender? Or is
I think he was, but he's another guy that's injury prone. I personally like Cabrera, but there's this guy that's been playing in spring training, Lombardi. He's been tearing the cover off the ball. Supposedly he's like a shortstop, and he's really good defensively. Like, I don't know if that would be the surprise guy that they start putting in the mix at third.
Yeah, I think I heard about that too. And then, the other day I heard them talking about a guy that's in the farm system that I hadn't heard of. Not that I've been following the farm systems at all, but I forget the guy's name. That they say this guy is like the closest thing that you're ever gonna find to a sure thing. What was his name, man? But they said he's still like a couple of years away, most likely. But they say that this guy is like the real deal, and I'm pretty sure they said he was a third baseman too.
Really?
So I wonder if it's. I don't think it was Lombardi though.
Until you get the name, I have no idea who you're talking about. But let's hope something pans out, because right now You got question marks all over the place. And I don't know, have you been following any of the spring training games?
I have not.
The Martian might be able to hit a ball 500 yards, but he can't catch a cold in left field.
Really?
Dude, I happened just to see the highlights, or like maybe it was the end of the game, and he like settles under a fly ball. And granted, it was really sunny that day because obviously it's Tampa. And he settles under it like this, and the ball drops where Wander is. It's like, what are you doing?
No kidding.
I'm like, how could you be up in the major leagues? I don't even care if it's spring training, but you can't catch a simple fly ball. It totally scared me. And that was the first time it happened, and then it happened like 2 days later with another one. And I could only imagine it probably happened another time that I just didn't pick up on it. But it is so bad right now, what's happening right now with some of these positions and how they're going to break out.
Yeah, so I think it is, who you're talking about, George Lombard.
Yeah, because he's the second ranked prospect, right?
Yeah, and it says, and that makes sense. It says ETA 2027. Yeah, so that's got to be him. But it says shortstop, second baseman.
Okay,
So
fair enough. I just saw it as one of his home runs on the highlights. It said maybe he was playing shortstop that day. Who the hell knows? Wonder, what's going on with your Mets? How you feeling so far?
I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't really been paying attention too much. So I did know about Manaea, but I didn't know about Montas. But at the same time, I mean, I wasn't expecting too much out of him. But I mean, I guess they did have him as a starter, so I guess they were.
Yeah, he was the first one that went down for them, and then Manaea was like a week later. I don't even think Montas threw a pitch, or if he did, it was a pitch, and that was it. Because it came out right away. Like once spring training started, he was done for, and they don't even know when he's going to come back. How do you feel about your lineup going on so far? Like they've been scoring some runs.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should produce. Obviously, they got with the new acquisition, and finally bringing back Alonso. Yeah, I think they can definitely put some runs on the board.
Soto hit a couple bombs so far in spring
I
training,
did see one of them. Yeah.
and one of them was the opposite way, just like he did with the Yankees. I thought that was kind of funny.
Going back to the Yankees, what's the deal with Spencer Jones? Are they expecting him to make the team this year?
Probably not. I think he's going to start off in the minor leagues, to be honest with you, because isn't he an outfielder?
Yeah.
So the only way that would happen is if the Martian is so terrible that they use the Martian as a DH, and then they put Spencer Jones out in left field.
Gotcha.
But we kind of have to monitor that for the next couple of weeks, because I think they're going to give the Martian so much leash, like we were talking about a few weeks ago. Like he's going to have to be terrible.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice at this point, right? Because of all the money they've paid him and already, and just all the hype and stuff. They gotta figure something out, whether it's that he's gonna make it and be somebody on the team, or just cut ties and give up on that project.
See, here's the problem. He's 22 years old, I think he is, right?
Yeah.
If I was a GM, I'd be afraid to give up on somebody like that.
I know.
Like his build is so baseball ready, and you could see he could hit the ball, right? So remember we were talking about this like right before spring training, and you still have the same opinion that you had then. Like they're gonna have no choice. Now, call me crazy, but my opinion still stays the same. I would not have him in left field. We now have an opening, right? Stanton's no longer the DH. He's out for a while. If you want him to get playing time, sit him at the DH spot. Go get yourself a defensive left fielder.
And just let him be the DH every day.
Right. So at the very least, if you want to try that project out, because a lot of people, when you're reading about him, are making excuses like, well, he's really a center fielder. Now, when I hear that, and granted, by no means am I any kind of analyst or baseball aficionado, but I have played baseball, if you're telling me you made it this far as a center fielder, you got to be pretty good, right? Defensively, I would assume, right? Technically, your center fielders and your shortstops are your best defensive players on the field. If you could play center, you should be able to play right and left, just like Aaron Judge. I mean, Aaron Judge wasn't a center fielder, but he was able to move from right to center and played left as well. Yeah. He should be able to do that. Now, with him being so young and left field being a problem in Yankee Stadium, like it's not an easy place to play, if you really want to see if that experiment can work out for right now, put him at DH. Because you know Stanton's not going to be back for at least 6 weeks. Easy. So you at least almost got 2 months. Now, if he winds up crushing the ball, you might have a decision to make. Do you put Stan out back in the outfield maybe? Maybe you play him in right?
If you do that, and for the first 6 weeks he's playing everyday DH, it's kind of like, as far as the defensive part of it, it's basically like an extended spring training where he's still going to get to practice and work on that, you know, while all at the same time getting at bats every day.
Correct. And at the very least, you'll know.
And then when Stanton's ready to come back, then you could say, all right, let's give it a shot now, see if it's improved.
And you don't do what you did with Gleyber Torres, because that comes up all the time too. You moved him to short, he lost his confidence. Once again, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, but apparently it's possible that if you play crappy in the field, you don't hit well. So that's one thing you don't want to do to this 22-year-old kid, because it's almost like Gleyber all over again, just even younger. Because Gleyber was 25. He's 22, which means he still has room to grow. He's basically our Juan Soto when he was with the Nationals. You know what I mean?
But Juan Soto was
agreed
already playing 3 years at 22.
Agreed. But I'm saying he's our closest because he's 22. Right. Even Volpe too, he was another 22-year-old getting thrown right in the fire last year. And that's another thing. Soto was able to do that, and the Nationals weren't good right away. You know what I mean? The Yankees are good every year. That's a lot of pressure too. So lessen the pressure on him. Just have him at DH. You could play him in left all you want in spring training. But there should be other options out there. And I know you're going to call me crazy, but there are outfielders out there right now that haven't signed that you could probably get for pretty cheap. I know you're not going to like to hear this name, but Verdugo's still out there. No one's offered him a contract.
I don't get it.
You can't throw $5-10 million on him for a 1-year contract?
I don't get it. Like, why nobody's...
Like, he's not that bad where, like, he's not going to get a job, right? Like, he's going to take a 1-year deal somewhere, right? Someone's going to need an outfielder. Why don't you bring it back to us? You at least know that he can handle the media and handle the spotlight.
Yeah.
That's checkbox number 1. 2...
And I don't think he was awful.
He wasn't awful. I mean, at times he was god-awful. But in the whole scheme of a year, if you have more options, because we already know Grisham is also another guy that's hurt. He tweaked something too, so he's out.
I just don't like him.
I get it. And I'm starting not to like him either, because I heard that he could only play center. So for me, I want my bench guys to be able to play a lot of positions. So to me, I don't mind dropping him or whatever, or just him being hurt all year. Like, I care less. Give up your roster spot for somebody else. Unless you want to bring Spencer Jones up and you think he's ready. But I haven't heard much about Spencer Jones this spring to make him pop. Like, he hit a home run. He might be hitting 250 or 260, somewhere around there. Like, I'm really not sure what he's doing. But, you know, if you're not going to give that kid a chance in the outfield, which it doesn't look like they're ready to do yet, keep him down in the minors and either trade for a good defensive left fielder or just bring back Verdugo or someone like a Verdugo. Yeah. Sacrifice a little offense just to be good defensively, because you saw what it did to us in the World Series. Like, I'd rather lose some close games and not getting clutch hits.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it is the fact that you started with, is that you know that he handled playing in New York perfectly, and that's a big part of it.
It's
that I
huge.
Think people don't really think about all that much.
They don't, because they're not New Yorkers. Right. Anyone in New York and anyone covering New York teams knows that. Anyone else outside of that doesn't care. and that's fine to me. I really don't. It doesn't bother me in a bit. But if you're waiting to trade Stroman to pick somebody else up, Cashman is losing his mind unless Hal Steinbrenner is saying no. But it doesn't make sense to me why he would say no. Like, you can't have two holes in the left side of the diamond. Right now it's third and left field. Third base, I could say comfortably who we put there will be at least good defensively. It's the hitting. Because everyone, and even when we said it, but everyone on the planet was like, even with Stanton being healthy, you needed another bat. Now you don't have Stanton, so no one's really going to be protecting Judge but Paul Goldschmidt. You know what I mean? And that's another thing, too, that I think should happen with the Martian if he can't shag fly balls. Maybe you start trying him at first base. Yeah. I know he's a little small, but if he could grab ground balls and pick balls, like maybe you practice him at first base and then you could have a young first baseman that can hit for power and we don't have to go and spend $500 million on a Vladimir Guerrero. I'd be okay with that and then spend that money on a left fielder, third baseman, something like that. Like, there's got to be options, and I know these guys are like, you got scouts all over the place. You got talent advisors. You got managers. You got, whatever, trainers, this, that, and the other. You got all these people at your disposal. Figure out a plan. It's freaking March already. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everything else is pretty much set, and we're going to live and die by all those other positions. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? It's frustrating because I could see what's going to happen in the season. It's going to be a very rocky season.
Up and down?
Yeah. Hills all over the place. And it's just going to be an emotionally draining season. We're going to wind up in the same place we were last year unless Cashman winds up doing something at the trade deadline. But who knows if they'll do that. And thank God we didn't trade Stroman, and he at least listened to not trading Stroman for a bag of balls, because look what happened. He's probably going to be in the rotation starting the season. Now, whether or not the Yankees actually want him to do that is another story. Only they know that answer.
Right.
But
if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice.
Right, because like this guy Warren, what's his name? Is it Bill Warren? No, it can't be that, right?
No.
Jonathan Warren? Billy? I don't know. I don't know the guy's name, but is
Will
Warren. That's a good one. Will Warren. He's been pitching really, really well, and he has a similar what's it called, delivery to, I think it was Michael King. They put them side by side. I saw a video. And he has the same kind of delivery. So if he could be like our next Michael King, that'd be great. Maybe that's why they were trying to trade Stroman. But don't wait. Someone's pitcher's going to go down and they're going to come knocking on the door. Just go out and get somebody for left field or third base. Well, I don't know if you get anyone for third base now, but you might just have to rotate guys there all year, like you almost did in left field a couple years ago when they had Gardner, then Benintendi, and all these other guys just rotating in and out.
Yeah.
So you might have to do that at third base this year. I don't know. I was really rooting for DJ LeMahieu to have like a bounce back kind of year, and not even anything crazy. Just hit over 300.
And be able to play every day.
And be able to play every day. Great defense. Give him 2 days off a week, whatever. And then have him for the playoffs and be like the La Machina again and just like base hit after base hit after base hit. But it doesn't look like it's going to start off that way, at least the beginning of the season. Max Fried did good. He pitched yesterday. He looked sharp. Cole looks sharp. Rodon's a little shaky, but he'll get there eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, you know he's going to be up and down all season.
Yeah, Clark Schmidt had a little tweak in his back. He just started throwing again, so we'll see how that goes. And otherwise, that's it. It's right around the corner.
Cole, Fried,
Rodon, Schmidt,
and then
Stroman.
Mm-hmm. Until Heel gets back.
Correct. And and then that's it for right now. They still have that guy that I remember last year, Poteet or something like that, or Polit. I don't remember what his exact pronunciation of his name is. When he came up here before he got hurt, he was sharp. He was striking guys out, getting outs, going at least 5-6 innings. I liked him. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's all I got for the Yankees right now. Juan, you got anything for the Mets you got for us? Because I haven't paid attention to them yet.
No, I haven't really been.
That's it, huh?
I haven't.
Oh, you start watching baseball this year? I know you went to a couple games last year, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely looking forward to the opening day.
My question to you is: are you getting a Juan Soto jersey? Because at least you know he'll be there for 15 years.
I haven't thought about that yet. Maybe.
You should start thinking about it
Yeah.
before it gets too expensive.
Right.
You know, or at least get it on one of those Chinese sites
There you go.
for $30.
A little cheaper.
You know, at the very least, it's worth your money because even if he opts out in after his fifth year, you had the jersey for 5 years.
Right.
You know, so that's like literally $5 a year. You can't beat that. You know. Other sports news: the Knicks are up and down. I'm still not paying attention to the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean they've been pretty consistent in that they're beating all the teams they should beat, and then the teams that they need to be able to beat, they're not.
Don't they have a big game? Is it tonight? They have a big game against somebody.
Not sure. Let's see who they're playing tonight.
I wanna say they're playing one of those teams that they're winless against, unless that was yesterday and I missed it.
They're playing the Warriors tonight.
Oh, okay. So I might have missed it, or it's coming up soon, or something like that.
Well, they've recently lost to Boston again. Got smoked by.
That was like a week ago, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
it wasn't a good weekend for
smoked by. I think they lost to Cleveland as well, right?
same weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
both teams.
Okay, so maybe there was an old post or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, the Rangers beat the Islanders last night. Shutout victory for the Rangers. So I found that funny because they were talking about it like hockey matters right now. But apparently the winner of that game shoots up with a better chance to make the playoffs. I forgot it was like 48 or 50% as opposed to dropping to like 21%.
Yeah, because it seems like the Rangers have started putting together a few wins, so they're climbing back up in the standings. So
Yeah, and they made some kind of trade for some decent players last week too, which was good.
they've done a lot this year as far as that goes.
Yeah, but like I said, nobody cares about hockey, so taking that from my friends on the fan. And it looks like the playoff picture is still going to remain the same for the NBA. There's really not much movement. Everyone's kind of just like staying in their lane, and
Yeah.
you know, they're almost.
It seems like it's going to be a little difficult road for the Knicks come playoff time. I don't know if they're going to be able to be as good as last year because Cleveland and Boston look like they pretty much have their number. So
Yeah, which is kind of tough because you would play Boston, I think, in the second round, right? I think with the third seed if you move on, right? Because it's like 1-8, 4-5.
Either way, Cleveland or Boston, I don't think they're getting past either one of them.
No. The Knicks aren't 100% healthy. The guys, and they haven't quite gelled like they did last year going into the playoffs. So maybe something like that'll happen. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you know, this whole Mitchell Robinson thing was a big deal for them. He's now getting back into things little by little. Let's see how long he can stay healthy for. But, you know, the problem is they're just not that good defensively.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Their defense is terrible.
Them scoring is not an issue. It's the defensive part. As good as Brunson and Towns are offensively, defensively, they're just...
Right. They're a defensive liability at the end of the games.
Yeah.
So you almost have to have like a sizable lead.
Yeah, and that's why you see so many of their games, you know, going down to the wire at the end of the game. It's back and forth, because it's like whoever's going to have the ball last and score last.
But you know what? They've been doing really good at that.
Yeah.
They're one of the better teams at closing out games.
Yeah, because, you know, Brunson's just an animal when it comes to, you know, hitting that big shot. He just seems to always do it, you know?
Yeah, it's not. It's hopefully. Well, listen. The good thing is well, they'll make the playoffs. Maybe they could get lucky and get past the second round this year.
Yeah, you never know what happens. I mean, guys can get hurt. I mean, look at Kyrie Irving. He's out for the season, tore his ACL. That's a disaster of a team right now. The Dallas Mavericks trading Luka, and now Kyrie going down, and them announcing that they're raising ticket prices. Their fans must be...
They're going crazy. And the funny thing is they traded him, and now the Lakers are the number 2 seed in their respective conference.
Oh, this pissed me off.
Why? So apparently Deebo Samuel got traded to the Commanders. I think that was like a couple days ago, right?
It was. And for a 5th round pick.
That's nothing.
Like, my thing is if you're in the NFC East, and I'm talking mainly about the Giants because we're here in New York, and Devontae Adams released.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
That must be fresh because I didn't even hear that on the radio, but we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't find any trade partners.
But if you're in the Chris Godwin's available too, and no, I'm shocked. Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
They released him.
They're available, I guess so. Well, he's hurt, so it's gonna take some time for him to come back.
Oh, he's not even gonna be ready for the season.
He might not be, no, because remember he got hurt towards the tail end of the season.
Yeah. So my thing is with Deebo, it's like if you're in the NFC East, and we're talking the Giants because we're here in New York, and the Cowboys because we're Cowboys fans, but how the frick do you let him go to the Commanders, who are already the second best team in the East, right? For a 5th round pick, you couldn't say, all right, we'll give you a 4th round pick. I mean, come on.
I think sometimes these deals get
both
done.
of them could definitely use another wide receiver, without a doubt.
100%. But I think sometimes these deals just get done and they agree to it, and that's it. They don't wait because maybe he might be a problem, or they don't want anything to get drawn out, and all of a sudden he gets pissed off and whatever. So when someone offers you something, they just take it. They don't even try and shop you around. Like, look at the Jets. I think last week, they said Devontae Adams is up for a trade or he'll be released. Now, if you're a team trying to get rid of somebody, why would you say we want to trade him or we'll release him?
Well, I think that type of situation, they know nobody's trading for him. With the money that he has owed to him, nobody in their right mind.
They just release him, because once you say that, like if I say to you, Devontae Adams is...
No, but like I said, I think they're able to say that without having to worry because they know nobody's going to want to trade for him.
Then my point is just release him then. Why we even bother saying that?
Well, we don't know that the team is saying that. They can... Anybody could say that that's what the team is saying, whether they said it or not.
Yeah, because to me that's stupid. Like, I'll just wait for him to be released and pick him up.
Yeah.
Why on earth would I trade for him and give up a pick?
That's why I guess it doesn't really matter because they know nobody's trading for him. I wouldn't mind having Chris Godwin on the Cowboys.
No, not at all. He was really good last year, but he had he got hurt again. That's his problem. He's always getting hurt. So for him, it's gonna be tough. This guy too, the last couple of years. Cooper Kupp always gets hurt. Yeah. Always. So much talent. Like you could put him on Kansas City and forget about it. You know what I mean? But can he stay healthy for at least 12, 13 games? Right. But when it matters, like towards the end of the season. I don't mind you starting off hurt. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can't go down in December and now you don't have you for the playoffs where he was doing all this good stuff throughout the season,
Yeah, and he's got a decent amount of money coming his way too.
Yeah, they all do. They're all big contracts. That's crazy to me. But these guys were that good. Just 3 years ago, he was the best wide receiver. And he had like the triple crown for wide receiving, like yardage, catches, and touchdowns.
And here's the difference, right? Where even though he still has a decent amount of money owed to him, it's not nearly as much as Adams. So that's why this has been dragging on for seems like 2 months already now that they're looking to trade him.
Yeah. And what they're working out is who's going to pay who and who's going to get what. And
right.
with football it's different because of the salary cap, so it's kind of difficult to navigate through some of this stuff because, unless they take all of it or you make some kind of deal, they don't want to eat all that money, in the next 2 years.
Which makes the Deebo Samuel trade even more mind-boggling because was he even under contract?
Yeah.
For what though?
I don't know because he got the contract. I think he got a contract not last year, the year before, because Ayuk got it last year and then got hurt.
So his contract might be big too.
Yeah, it could be sizable. But yeah, that's the chance you take with football and football players is you just don't know what's going to happen to them. And did anyone see Debo? Did you see Debo's picture recently?
No.
He gained weight.
No.
He's got a little bit of a pot belly going on, at least from what I saw. Yeah. So, I don't know if that has something to do with it either, or, who knows what people are thinking about him. He might not be as fast as he used to be, unless he gets into shape now that he's with the Commanders and maybe I could run away with the Commanders to the Super Bowl or something. But I don't know. I think the Commanders might take a step back next year a little bit. I think last year was one of those, not fluke years, but they did a lot.
Giants didn't want to give Saquon Barkley $9 million a year last year. Now he signs a 2-year, $42 million extension.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, right?
Unreal.
Can you blame him though? He single-handedly pretty much got him to the Super Bowl with how crazy his year was, and he's saying he's not even done yet. Next year it might be even better. I don't know. It's wild, but. We got plenty of time left. What I'm excited for is next year's schedule coming out for the NFL and this draft that comes up in April. I think it's the end of April. I want to see.
Is there really anything to be excited about in this draft?
No, but there are different, not quarterback wise, but there are other players that you could go and get if they don't trade away their first round pick, where you could maybe do something with it. I don't know. Maybe get an offensive lineman. Maybe. Another wide receiver.
Well, what about quarterback? Both New York teams need a quarterback. What's going to happen there?
Did you see the Giants were thinking about also not only just Aaron Rodgers? I can't believe we forgot that. They
did see that, yeah.
They reached out to his camp, but also Sam Darnold.
Well, I honestly, why wouldn't teams be interested in Darnold? I don't know.
Teams, yes. New York, no. If I was the Giants and the Jets, I don't think they're going to even come close to that. But I don't think the Jets could afford him with carrying Rodgers' cap hit on there. But the Giants are interesting. But you saw what he did with the Jets.
That's going to be the interesting part because I did hear that on the radio today that he is looking for a decent sized contract, which I don't know who's going to take that chance,
but he was really good with Minnesota.
He was.
And why is it Minnesota not trying to sign him back?
Well, because McCarthy's supposed to be back, and unfortunately, I think with the NFL, unlike other sports, those 2 weeks in the playoffs just destroyed any chance that he had. Because had he been decent, there was probably a good chance that Minnesota re-signs him.
Yeah.
Or at least is able to, have interest from other teams. A lot of interest,
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Yeah, because he played one game at the end of the regular season. What was it again? Was it the Detroit game where he was just terrible? And then they lost the division because of that? And then he put the playoff game, he lost bad.
That was just awful.
Yeah. I don't even remember who he played. Who did he play? The Rams? Yeah, it was the Rams. They got smoked. Yeah, you're right. I remember that now. Yeah, that's all I got for sports. Have you been watching anything any good? Or?
I haven't been watching. You know what I've been playing in the background just for some background noise while I've been at home doing some stuff on the computer the last few days is finally this show, The Boys, because it just keeps popping up. I don't.
It's tough.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Which number one, I didn't realize the main guy is a guy from Banshee.
Yeah. Homelander.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't know that, and
Because he's got blonde hair and he's clean cut.
yeah, and you know it's funny because I think in the last few shows we talked about how I was surprised I for some reason ended up watching that show Teen Wolf, and how I thought it was surprisingly good. I felt like it's almost a kind of like a spoof on that, where it's like these guys have these powers where some of them seem like they're trying to control their powers, right? And that's the whole theme of Teen Wolf. It's like these guys are turning into these werewolves, but they're needing to learn how to control their powers, you know? I don't know, weird.
Well, you watch The Boys, right?
Yeah, I've seen all of it.
Yeah, me too. You have to kind of pay attention to The Boys. You can't just have it. It's not a background show. Like, I took your recommendation and started watching Teen Wolf, and it's not bad at all. Like, I'm at the end of season 3 right now, and season 3 is the longest one by far. It's got like 24 episodes. I'm like, but I figured it out where like it does kind of like what Cobra Kai did recently, and some of those other shows where even Squid Games, where they put out a season at like the end of August. They put out 12 episodes, and then they put out the second part of it the next year in like May.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because season 3, it was like, how is season 1 and 2 12 episodes, and then season 3 is 24, and I think season 4 is also 24?
Yeah, well, because I think the network shows are a little different, whereas if they pick up some steam and they do well, that those series, especially back in the day, they were all like...
Oh, yeah, they were usually 20s, yeah, 100%. But those are like almost like sitcoms. Like this is more like 45, like an hour block.
Yeah.
And then I looked on IMDb, and you could see one season started like whatever 2013.
Oh, okay.
In like August, and went to December, and then cut for the holidays, and then it would come back in like April.
Oh, okay.
And you could see the blockage. Like it has 24 episodes, but there's a huge gap of like 6 months in it, and then like it comes back again.
Yeah.
And it's all just one season. So, and they don't say it's part 1 and part 2. Like the first part of the season, the 12 episodes, wraps up whatever storyline that was, and then the second part has like a continuing a little bit from that, like whatever they didn't answer continues into the second part.
Yeah.
And then they have like other things that get intermingled in, and then you
surprisingly
close it out.
good though, right?
No, it's surprisingly good.
Like you would have never have guessed.
No, I would have never guessed that I would have like been able to watch that show. Like that's all I've been watching recently. I have like a list of things that I watched before that. Like I was watching Annabelle 1 and 2, Conjuring 1 and 2. I finally finished Cobra Kai, which was good. I know I think there's a third Annabelle. I'm not sure, but there's definitely a third Conjuring, but I didn't watch that because.
Are all those in the same universe? Or whatever?
Yeah, so like it's weird. I'm glad you asked that because The Conjuring is the first movie, right?
Right.
And it shows Annabelle in the beginning.
Okay.
And then she disappears. Like they don't even mention it. It's just like how the movie comes on, and then it's a totally different story. And then you have The Conjuring 2, and then they brought out Annabelle, and those people that were in Conjuring are like at the beginning and end of Annabelle. And then Annabelle 2, they're not in it really at all. Then there's Conjuring 3, which I didn't see because I heard it's like too demonic and everything like that. So like I haven't watched it yet. Like I gave it a little bit of a break. And I don't know if there's a third Annabelle, but then there's another Conjuring that's coming out this year at some point. Like I don't know if it's in the summer or it just said 2025. So, but they're all intertwined. The same people that are in The Conjuring are kind of in Annabelle.
Oh.
Yeah, supposedly, and it's a true story. This was which I didn't know about. Like these people were alive up until just like last year or something like that. The lady passed away. Her husband like died in like 2005, but they had like this whole trinket room in like their house, and like it's locked and locked up and guarded, and like it's blessed like once or twice a month to make sure these things don't go crazy.
Wow.
And like they let people in there to look at them, and then you see other trinkets or artifacts, if you will, and like at the end of each movie, whatever happened in that movie, they put the trinket or artifact in that room, and you see like Annabelle's in there, you see something from somewhere else, and you see all these little stories, and everyone always goes to touch it, and they're like, "Hey, don't touch it, don't touch it, please." You know, it's not one of these things you can touch, whatever. But that was good. Did you guys ever see the movie Worth with Michael Keaton?
It's new?
No, it's a little older. I want to say it's like maybe 2019 or 2020-ish. It's about 9/11, like the settlement case.
Oh yeah, I never did watch it.
You should watch it. I think you guys would like that. It was crazy to me. Like, and Michael Keaton was like the head lawyer. It was a good role for him. But it's interesting, like how
basically they were trying to screw people out of money or something like that.
Yeah, like basically like they had all this money and they didn't want, like, basically the president told them, like, you have to figure something out because if everybody sues, it'll affect the United States economy. It'll go in the tubes and there'll be like a Great Depression. So like figure out what you can do. And they brought Michael Keaton in because he was a formula guy. Like he did, I don't remember exactly what, he was a lawyer, but like all his things were like claims or something like that. But like he worked in Manhattan, like he was the big deal. So they brought him in to do that.
Was this based on like a true story?
Yeah.
Meaning, I know obviously
Yeah.
9/11, but like actual events?
Yeah.
Actual events?
Yeah. Supposedly, yeah. That's what it said.
Who was the president? It was Bush, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So they didn't mention it by any of those people by name.
Okay.
But like it's supposedly a true story.
Wow.
And it was pretty crazy. I found it on a whim. I'm like, what's this? And
yeah, I remember seeing it, but I never watched it.
Watched it. It was real good. Real good. It was a good time. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. What do you got?
Yeah, I've been watching a few things.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
You just sparked my memory with Cobra Kai. You know that I like. I think I crushed that one weekend whenever it came out. That was cool. I enjoyed the end.
How could you not enjoy that ending?
Especially the boat fight. I thought that was great too.
Dope. Dope.
What was I gonna say? And then you just sparked my memory again with the horror. I watched Longlegs on Hulu. I thought that was really good.
Oh, I saw that also on the screen, but
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, I mean, I had wanted, a few people had told me about it, I guess, when it was in the theaters. So I kind of thought that, it would be decent, but yeah, I enjoyed that one.
What's it about?
It's like, and I guess she's like, I think she's like an FBI agent, and she's like tracking like a serial killer, but she also has something about like something that happened to her when she was a kid. So it was just well done,
Right.
And it's on Hulu. Really enjoyed that. What else? Been watching Severance. That's a good show. I'm not really sure what's going on most of the time, but it's interesting.
You really have to pay attention to that show, bro. It's wild.
Oh, it's crazy.
But it's not, not to cut you off, but that's the #1 show on Apple TV.
Oh,
Ever.
really? Well,
Ever.
I mean, I know the first season was
Ever?
Well, Apple TV's been around for like 3 years, guys.
Yeah, but don't tell me it's more popular than Ted Lasso.
They said, I saw the thing come up.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, that's what it said.
And then I also watched, speaking of sports, I also watched the We Beat the Dream Team documentary. That was good. That's on HBO.
Okay.
It's about the college team that played that used to scrimmage the
Yes,
team.
yes.
And the team was pretty loaded too. A lot of good young players, including Grant Hill, Anthony Hardaway, Chris Webber.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just it's
One episode or like
it's a one-off.
One-off?
I think it was like it might have been a little shorter than 90 minutes or something.
Oh, that's
yeah,
not bad.
it was good. I enjoyed that one a lot. And was there anything? I mean, I know there was one more thing, but let me just double check. So I started 1,000 Blows, I think it's called, on Hulu. It's like this boxing show. I think it's from like the people that did Peaky Blinders or something like that.
Really?
I only watched a few episodes, but I'm liking it. But sometimes
What show is that?
I think it's called 1,000 Blows.
Oh, that's the boxing show, right?
Yeah. So I only watched a few, but it's good. I liked it, but for some reason, the connection for me with Hulu sometimes it like cuts in and out.
Yeah.
I have the same
You have the
problem
same
with
issue?
Hulu.
Yeah.
Me too.
Maybe, my Fire Stick is super old too, so it could also be that.
Nah, because
No, it's just Hulu.
It's
yeah,
Hulu.
it's just
Yeah.
Hulu.
I guess their servers aren't as good as
No.
Netflix. Or,
Well,
You're right.
the-
As of February, it passed Ted Lasso as the most viewed. How is that possible, man? I tried to watch the first episode of the first season when it came out and talk about not knowing what the fuck was going on.
I think that's the point.
I'm
Like, it's
never
crazy.
again.
And then finally, I've been I just started this weekend. I've been watching Daredevil because the new one.
The old Daredevil.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah,
old
yeah.
Daredevil.
I was going to say, like, that comes out today. How'd you watch that and not tell us?
Oh, it comes out today.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
It's probably already out.
I think I'm like 10 episodes into the first season, so I'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
What
it's
is it? A new series of Daredevil or just a continuation?
continuation. But,
Oh.
like, years later.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like I watched a few episodes of Daredevil, but years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a long
Well,
time
it
ago.
had 3 seasons on Netflix. And then they did Daredevil. The next one, I think, was Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, then the Punisher. Then they brought them all together without the Punisher as the Defenders, and then they Marvel did their own thing with Disney Plus, and they took them off, and then they put them on Disney a little bit after that because they got the rights back, and then they put it in the works. Remember, Daredevil was in Spider-Man. Was it No Way Home in the beginning? Yeah, no.
And is it the same guy?
Same guy, 100%, yeah. And you got Fisk in there this year. Supposedly the Punisher's in there.
Oh.
Bullseye. Yeah, it's supposed to be
And
crazy.
it's on Disney.
Disney Plus, yeah. I think it's rated R too.
Well, I mean, that was the thing I was going to say about it too. Is I remember I had watched I think some of it when it first came out, and that had to be like what 2012 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And I forgot it's dark and it's pretty violent.
Yeah.
It was that long ago that it originally came out.
Somewhere around there,
So you're talking about years since.
yeah. Yeah.
The last
Well, I mean,
season.
in the show, it's not going to be a decade. You know what I mean? I don't know. They'll probably tell you when you watch it, like, how long has passed,
Wow.
Supposedly, by the way, too, Disney Plus, the Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon, I didn't start watching
I heard
that.
that's good.
I heard that's
really
good too. Yeah, I want to watch it.
I'm not really surprised though when you think of the Spider-Verse and was there 2 of those movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, those
What,
are both good.
and what about this other cartoon show that I see all over the place? Invincible?
I'm watching that right now as we speak. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You got to watch it. Because it's like superhero stuff, but like a little bit more, not as crazy as The Boys, because there's just stuff you don't need in The Boys. It's just a comic book that's a little bit more.
2015. Sorry.
Okay.
I was,
So it's still 10 years
I
ago.
went back a little too far.
10 years ago though. Still, it's got more blood and fighting and like just a bunch of different stuff thrown at you. You know what I mean? But it's good. I'm actually trying to finish this season that just came out now. There's one more episode left to come out next week, but probably by the time I get there, I'll be ready to finish it up. The hardest thing is just waiting for these things to finish up week to week, and then just binge watch it in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to wait. There's certain shows I won't. Like I'll probably watch Daredevil tonight, because like I won't be able to go to work or anywhere, and they're like, "Did you see Daredevil?" I'm like, no. What's wrong with you? So I'll probably watch that tonight, especially if it's half-hour episodes or 40 minutes. It's nice and easy. But yeah.
And does Disney put them all out at once, or
No, they
is-
don't. They don't. They don't. That's the sad thing. Only really Netflix does that now. But they're starting to get away from
Hulu
that
does
too.
that too. I think.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The thing I hate with Hulu is all their damn commercials.
Right.
And they're so long.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. It's almost like watching it on TV.
No, and and then you try to pause it, and then it comes up with the screen, go ad free for $2.99.
Yeah, get out of here. Eventually that'll be like $5.99, and you'll be paying $100 like it's cable. No
I think
thanks.
it just went up too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They, matter of fact, almost all of them went up at the same time.
Yeah.
I got an email from Netflix. Oh, your thing's going up. Boom. Disney, like a week or two later, it's going from this to this. Apple TV went up. Paramount Plus went up $1 or $2. All this other stuff. I swear to God, like they just want to take everybody's money. Drives me nuts. Anyway, Wanda, you got a song for us? What's up?
Yes, one album for this week. We have
5th week in a row. Just saying.
Boldy James and Chuck Strangers with Token Appreciation. So that's the pick for this week.
All right, folks. Well, we're back. It's almost spring. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care.
Later, guys.